Welcome to Seen and Heard. Many young people who have been abused or exploited have reported that they wanted to tell someone what was going on, but they didn't feel like they could, for a variety of reasons.
Key research has raised continuing concerns that organisations and agencies miss opportunities to stop child abuse and exploitation because they are not able to make sure that young people are seen and heard. Young people who do make disclosures often choose someone in their family or a friend, but it is estimated that many, perhaps a quarter, choose a professional to talk to about what is going on.
If you have contact with young people as part of your job, that someone could be you. The Seen and Heard course lasts for about 1 hour and aims to help you understand what it's like to go to a service or an appointment when you're a young person who might have something to tell. Be aware of what those young people have said they need so they feel that they can talk. Make sure those young people are seen, and make sure those young people are heard. Know what to do if any of those young people make a disclosure.
When we say something to tell, that could be anything, but in particular, we're talking here about children and young people who are being exploited or abused. For the rest of this course, we're just going to say young people. But basically, we mean all children and young people who are being abused or exploited. Here are places you can get support if anything in this course raises any concerns for you. Let's get started and see what you know.
Child abuse is when somebody does something that causes significant harm to a child. The abuse could be physical, sexual, emotional, or neglect. Often children who are abused suffer more than one type of abuse, and often it's not just a one-off event. It can happen over a longer period of time. Children can either be abused in person or online, and those children might have lots of other problems as well. Across nearly every measure and across all age groups, females reported higher rates of sexual abuse than males. The difficulties for boys and girls disclosing or seeking support are different, but equally difficult. Some evidence suggests that the abuse of boys may be underreported. Sexual abuse by a parent or carer towards a child or young person is relatively rare. Parents or guardians were the abusers in just 1.7% of sexual abuse cases. Of the data that are available, it is hard to draw many generalized conclusions about the individual characteristics of perpetrators. What all perpetrators have in common, regardless of the difference in age, ethnicity, or social background, was their abuse of power in relation to their victims, and that the vast majority of them were male. In most cases, 70%, The abuse was not reported to the police. Almost 90% of survivors have not seen their abusers brought to justice. The victims are children however they present themselves. They cannot consent to their abuse, all the more given that grooming itself removes any real sense of self-determination from these children. There should be no scenarios in which victims are viewed as young women or as making choices.
This course features a short film, interactive exercises, and uses the views of young people to raise awareness about how young people can be seen and heard, especially those who've got something to tell, someone like Tyler, who you're about to meet now.
Got it, Tyler.
Pass it! I just kicked. Come on!
You had the control of a donkey.
Pass! Pass. Get it! Pass! Damn it! Pass it!
I'm on your team.
Pass it! Don't think you are. No, you're not! To me! Come on, pass it! What? Psych!
No!
Oh, you haven't even scored yet.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Scored 5.
No, you haven't, you liar.
Nobody scored since when I said, so nobody gets any Haribos.
I scored 5.
No. Pass!
Get off of me!
Get off! Get off of me! Get off of me! You want some?
What?
Come on then.
Nah, you're right.
What did you say?
I said, nah, you're right.
What did you say? Tyler, stop! No! Tyler! 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 Tyler!
What's your name?
Tyler Johnson.
Address?
46 Telegraph Road.
Date of birth?
12th of March 2002.
Do your parents know you're here?
Yeah, my stepmom dropped me off.
Can you pick that up?
Pick it up. I'm not sure if you noticed, but my hand's fucked.
Okay, leave it. I'll get it later.
No, you know what? I'll save you the bother.
Were you looking for this?
Yeah.
That looks painful. Well, you're in the right place.
You think so?
Sorry, did that hurt?
Of course it fucking hurts.
Remind me how you did this.
punched a wall.
Right. OK, well, you must have punched it pretty hard.
You ever punched a wall?
No, I can't say I have.
You should try it. It fucking hurts.
Hey, tone the language down.
Mate, you need to get in the real world.
All right, mate. I'm Tyler's brother.
Stepbrother.
Right, well, I think we're almost done here.
Do you not think?
Get out.
What?
Get in the back.
What Jake
Get
said?
in the back!
All right, take it easy on the door. What are you doing? Okay, suit yourself. I feel like a taxi driver driving you muppets around. Where can I take you, sir? I reckon I could get you some life of a taxi driver. Not bad, Dosh. You can work when you want. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Change of direction. New lease of life. That makes you two my first passengers. Hey, Tyler. You should start letting your brother sit in the front seat, you know? He's a big lad now. And you've had your turn.
Thanks for doing that, love.
Don't worry about it.
Tyler. 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 Can I have a word? I'm making a cup of tea. Do you want one?
I'm all right.
Dave?
Yeah, thanks, love.
Can't go on like this, Tyler. Do you understand? Tyler, look at me. Do you understand?
Yes.
Look what you've done to yourself.
Now I have to kill him again.
Even you must realise you can't carry on like this. Dave, tell him about the weekend.
Me and Sandy are going to Dorset for the weekend.
What?
We're going to stay with Auntie Lindsay.
We need a break from this.
Dad.
Jake's coming over to look after you both.
We don't need Jake to come and look after us.
What, and you expect for us to leave you in charge?
I'm going out.
No, you're not.
Leave him.
He's a big lad now.
Old.
Dad,
Yeah?
can you help me with my computer?
Your computer?
Yeah, I think it might have a virus.
Yeah, I'll be up in a minute. It's normally you helping me with my computer, isn't it? Right.
Dad,
Yeah?
do you want to know why I punched that lad?
This again, Tyler.
Dad,
Okay. Why did you punch him? Hmm?
He had it coming to him.
For God's sake, Tyler. Look, there's nothing wrong with your computer, all right?
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake!
Tyler Johnson.
What am I doing here?
Well, I understand you hurt your hand and you had to go to A&E.
What, this? Nah, this is a fashion statement.
Oh, come on, Tyler. I think you should know I've contacted your mum about this meeting.
Fuck's sake.
Look, Tyler, I've got a lot of people to see today, so the quicker you cooperate, the quicker you'll be out.
What am I supposed to be cooperating about? Oh, right. The hand.
I see you punched a wall.
Punched a wall?
Yeah, it says here you said you punched a wall.
Well, if that's what it says.
Well, did you punch a wall?
Yeah. Let me tell you, it fucking hurts. Sorry, it's really painful.
Did you punch a wall or have you been fighting again?
You look after Lamford Primary as well, don't you?
Don't change the subject, Tyler.
But you do, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Do you know my little brother Luke?
I know Luke.
Hasn't come and seen you recently.
Well, that's confidential information. Anyway, what do you want to know?
Just want to check he hasn't been grassing me up or anything.
Right, well, is there anything else bothering you today, apart from obviously your hand?
Yeah, I'm wetting the bed.
Right, well, if that's true, then you have to come back and see me another time. I haven't got time to go through that kind of assessment today.
Where are you going?
Down the shops. Getting food and stuff for the weekend. Apparently I'm supposed to be making you little shits dinner on Saturday night.
Well, look, I can help you with the shopping. Luke doesn't need to come.
But you want to come, don't you, Luke? Anyway, you're only going to want to sit in the back seat, aren't you?
No. I'll sit in the front. With you.
Okay.
Go inside, Luke.
Tyler! Tyler! Come on, get down here. So don't forget, Jake's picking Luke up from his mates. They're maybe around this evening.
This evening? Thought it wasn't coming round till tomorrow.
No, it's this evening.
Right. Look, Dad, I don't see why Jake has to look after us.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, but...
Okay, I'm coming. So Jake's coming around tonight, and that's final, okay? Okay? Right. See you Monday then, yeah?
What's your surname? Johnson. With a H or an N? H. Date of birth?
12th of March 2002.
Do your parents know you're here?
It says right up here.
It's just down there.
That's it? I think we've met before.
Yeah.
That's it. No, okay.
Fuck this, I'm not doing this. You can't make me do it.
Well, why don't we just try a little bit more slowly? We can go at your pace. Okay? Just have one more try. That's it. Come on. There. Nice and gentle. Perfect. That's it. Just keep it there. Right, I'll just go and take the image.
Is that it? Can I go?
No, I'm afraid we're not quite done yet.
Fuck this! Fuck this!
Tyler? Tyler!
Fuck off! Fuck off, I'm warning you!
Tyler, you don't need to do this.
What do you mean?
You're not a bad lad.
You don't know me.
Why did you punch the wall, Tyler?
You don't want to know.
I do want to know.
Trust me, you don't.
Tyler, why did you punch the wall?
It's my brother, Luke.
What about your brother?
I'm worried about him.
Why are you worried about him?
Because of Jake in the front seat and...
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Who's Jake? Who's Jake? Tyler, who's Jake?
My stepbrother.
How old is Jake?
No, 24, 25. I think he's making Luke do things.
Is Luke the only person he's making do things?
No. does things to me as well.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
When you're going somewhere for an appointment or something, you can feel a whole load of different things.
I always get worried about being in waiting areas with other young people.
I felt awkward about the number of questions and what I was going to be asked.
I got a male worker and hadn't been told about that. I didn't want a male worker. I felt sick.
I was really embarrassed about what if I had to show my private parts.
I get confused about what information is going to be shared, and with who.
I just shut down if I go somewhere. I don't trust adults, me.
Research with young people tells us some of the reasons why they don't disclose abuse or exploitation or decide not to talk about their something to tell.
I didn't feel like I had anyone to turn to.
My family had a lot of different problems: drugs, alcohol, stress, and my dad was being violent. How to start talking about that?
I just didn't realise at the time that the abuse was wrong.
It was just impossible to find the right words that would explain what was going on.
I was agreeing to have sex because I loved him. I didn't realise that I was being manipulated, and it still counted as abuse.
I'm gay, and I'd got into a scene where having sex with people a lot older than me was the done thing. It seemed normal.
When we go somewhere for an appointment or whatever, there are different things that affect whether we end up feeling like we might be able to talk. But you have to remember, like the cartoons before, we're all different, but what works for one doesn't always work for everyone.
If you go somewhere, the first person you talk to really affects how you feel and act. Whether you even stay, it's got to feel like a safe place.
Staff should make sure they smile, act friendly, and be polite.
Don't ask us what we're here for at reception. We just lie because we don't want anyone hearing stuff and sharing it with our family.
Well, the building matters and stuff, but what matters more is having the right staff. I want to talk in a room where I'm not going to be interrupted.
Don't be critical of the life choices that I've made.
I need to know that my sexuality is not going to become common knowledge until I'm ready.
We're not going to talk if we think we're just going to be judged and looked down on. I always ask for the same doctor.
If you see the same person over time, then you get to build a bond with them.
We hate it when you have to repeat your situation to every new person you see. Why do they make notes if the next person's just going to ask you the same stuff all over again? Seriously?
It's just easier to talk if you feel like the person knows you a bit.
However, if a trusted professional responds sensitively and shows concern for the child, they may then begin to talk about underlying problems. Young people described how conversations prompted recognition and relationships of trust promoted telling and help.
If I choose to see someone, that's good, but if I'm made to see someone, I feel more negative.
It's important to get a choice of who you talk to, a man or a woman.
When we have to go in a room and talk to someone, we like having a choice, whether to be alone or whether to have someone with us.
A place is more likely to get it right if they give as much choice as possible over stuff.
All of these things are really important to different young people, but hopefully you've got an idea about what it's like to be in their shoes.
4 of the most common reasons that prompt young people to make a disclosure are: to stop the abuse, to protect others, to seek justice, to receive emotional support. Research has suggested that sexual abuse is unlikely to be disclosed, and yet 38 of the 44 young people, 86%, who suffered from sexual abuse did disclose during childhood. 66% attempted to disclose when the abuse was happening. However, just like many high-profile cases, not all of these disclosures were heard or acted upon. Young people generally made more than one disclosure. Alarmingly, 20% of respondents continued to be abused at least 1 year or more after making disclosures. For this group, abuse continued for an average of almost 6 years after the first disclosure. Over 30% of those who had continued to be abused after making disclosures had disclosed to a statutory service such as a GP, social worker, doctor, or teacher.
If you talk to us like we're people, we know you've seen us. We'll feel more like talking. We don't only want to deal with a suit or a uniform. We want to see the human underneath it.
It's good to ask us about other things, not just the things that the appointment was made for. But don't pressure us, and don't act like you just want to finish your shift and go home. We can tell when you're not really interested.
Lots of the time, young people just won't want to talk. Nothing you can do will change that on the day, because talking about some things can feel impossible. But there still might be signs. You have to look out for them.
An important finding was that some young people did not feel they could disclose their abuse at the time, but they would have liked someone to notice and ask them. A number of the young people had contact with professionals and believed that professionals should have asked more questions to uncover the nature of their depression and self-harming behaviours, which stemmed directly from the abuse they were experiencing. Children are being sexually exploited here and now. This appalling form of child abuse is more prevalent than most people could ever imagine. In the most high-profile cases, professionals and police appeared not to treat these incidents as seriously as they would a single occurrence, precisely because the children had so many problems and caused concern so often. There was a distinct lack of professional curiosity about what was happening to victims. Why, victims and their parents wanted to know, did professionals not inquire about why there was blood pouring down a child's legs, or the cause of lacerations on the neck, or concern about bite marks on a child's body? Health services will frequently come into contact with vulnerable children. GPs will get a copy of a report of every visit to accident and emergency by a child. GU clinics are treating children being checked for sexually transmitted diseases. They therefore see and hold significant information which should be viewed as warning signs.
If you've got your radars on and you think you might be seeing some signs, ask us about it. Maybe we'll talk about it, maybe we won't, but we'll notice that you noticed. If we don't talk this time, next time we might. Things change. If we do want to speak out, will you hear us?
Although many young people did disclose their abuse before they turned 18, these disclosures often came a long time after the abuse began. For young people who experienced sexual abuse, the younger they were when the abuse started, the longer the delay in their disclosing. People who were abused as children have told us that there are different reasons why they choose to disclose at certain times. Those reasons are:
Before, we asked you to try and guess the things young people said would make them feel like they could talk. Now, have a think about what 4 things young people said that we want you to do, so we feel like we've been heard.
Here are some of the things that young people said that they think are the most important things that help us to feel like we're going to be heard.
I just want people to be calm. Don't pressure us about stuff. Don't be rushing us. At times I felt like that they wanted to talk at me rather than listen to me. Check that we understand confidentiality and don't make us feel like we're on a production line.
Evidence examined by the Commissioner points to the importance of proactive inquiry. Where professionals ask children questions to follow up on concerns and suspicions, it not only provides an opportunity for children to tell, but also sends a message that they are willing and able to listen to the disclosure.
Sometimes staff belittle the problems you tell them about, so you're hardly going to tell them about the bigger stuff you might not have talked to anyone about. Don't freak out when we tell you stuff, or you'll freak us out. Just reassure us. If we start to tell you about stuff, tell us that it's okay.
Don't be afraid to ask us questions about our sexuality. Just ask us how we describe ourselves, then use those words back to us.
Some young people described how others asked a direct question, whereas other young people said their disclosures were promoted over time through building trust, which often took the form of providing a safe place to talk and encourage eventual disclosure.
I'd never had a boyfriend before, and some people don't get what it's like to have autism or something like that. I was in all the special classes, when I'm not stupid, and I'm not meaning to be rude, but most of the other kids were either in trouble all the time or really thick because of their disability. I was teased by other kids, and no boy showed any interest in me. I know I'm different because of my autism, but it doesn't mean I don't want things that other people have.
Victims of child sexual abuse in the family with learning, physical disabilities may be less likely to be identified as victims, as they face additional communication barriers to disclosure, and the signs of abuse may be misattributed to the disability. Children with a disability which impacts on their communication skills are less able to report abuse directly.
We want you to look like you're listening and to explain carefully what's going to happen next. If you're going to break confidentiality and pass on stuff, you should at least tell us about it, and don't promise stuff if you can't stick to it.
Disclosures often were unsatisfactory for this group of young people who felt that professionals did not do enough, that professionals treated them as children, that they did not like the way professionals communicated with them, that they were uninformed about what would happen next.
All of the things we just mentioned are really important to us when we are thinking about whether or not to talk about something.
People who have been abused and who have told someone about it say that there are 3 things that need to happen to make telling someone feel positive. The young person felt believed. Some action was taken to protect the young person. The young person received some kind of emotional support to help them through the process.
Follow your organisation's safeguarding procedures, keeping young people informed. If you are unsure about whether you should pass information to the named safeguarding professional in that procedure, then pass it on. Not passing information on when you should have allows child abuse to continue. Passing information on when you shouldn't have doesn't allow child abuse to continue. Discussing the issue with colleagues can help you to make this decision. If you are not clear about what safeguarding procedure you should be following, speak to someone in your line management chain. If you can't speak to a line manager, contact social care and/or police directly. Don't forget to continue supporting the young person. We have a very low threshold for talking about any niggling concerns with colleagues, either immediately or in our weekly clinical meeting. Everyone has the right to live in safety, free from abuse and neglect. Adults who find themselves in vulnerable situations can also be victims of sexual abuse and sexual exploitation. They need to be seen and heard too, and much of the content covered here is equally applicable to them.
If we don't tell you anything and you miss the signs, it means you haven't seen us. If we tell you and you don't do anything about it, then it means you haven't heard us. And if bad stuff is happening to us, it'll just keep on carrying on.
Respect. Value all young people. Remember their messages about how hard it can be to disclose abuse or exploitation. Approach. Show warmth and compassion from the start. Give young people the best chance to build a relationship with you. Discover. Be proactive. Look out for potential signs of abuse. Ask. Be professionally curious. Ask questions and take young people's answers seriously. Respond. Follow safeguarding procedures. Keep the young person informed and check they are being supported.
In the film with Tyler, you can see that finally telling someone about what's going on might well be a proper life-changing event for him, his little brother, and maybe other kids as well. Who knows?
Seen and Heard have set a target of getting a message to over 750,000 professionals, and we need your help. We need you to encourage as many people as you can to visit the website and do the e-learning, or we've got a special presentation that's really easy to use, which you can use with any group of people in your workplace.
Right now, there's probably someone in your room who's done just that and arranged for you to be a part of this workshop. We'd like to say a massive thank you to that person for being a Seen and Heard champion and arranging this, and to you for being a part of this. The closer we get to all young people being seen and heard, the sooner we can help all young people to be safe. Please visit our website for more details, information and resources, and please try to spread the word about Seen and Heard.